Smart objects. Smart objects are, they're just great, basically. I love smart objects. I think they're really, really handy, especially for those of you who have to create tiles or repeat pattern or surface pattern of any kind, really, who think they might need to edit it later on. So a smart object is, what's the best way to describe it? It's like a linked object, basically. So what we've got here is I've got an image of a tile. You just right click on it and you convert to smart object. So now when you double click on this object, it opens it up in another window. So you can edit this and do whatever you want to it, and then you save it and then you close it. The great thing about it is if I shut this and open up these four here, these are all copies of each other. So I've just gone Command J to copy them, and I've set them up as a tile like this. So if I double click on one of them, and then I've already put a channel mixer in here, I've turned them purple. If you save this and you close it, they've all changed. So if you have a repeat pattern here, say you've got a little image or a little icon and it's repeated over and over again, instead of having to edit each icon individually, you save one as a smart object, copy it, create copies, repeat that pattern, and you only have to edit one to edit all of them, which saves so much time, especially if you're like me, where I work in wrapping paper and you have things, you might have 15 of the same icon on one tile. It just saves so much time. There's a couple of things that are worth knowing about smart objects. That's one of them, which is really great. So all of these here are linked together. So you can see if I do anything to these, let's say I only want that part of the tile to be blue and that part of the tile to be blue. We can save that, and now because this is just, that's one image, that's one image, that's one image, that's one image, they're all copies of each other, they're all linked together, so anything I change to one, it changes to all of them. So oops. Let's say I want to just edit one of them. So if you just go layer, if you just right click on the layer, sorry, and then you go new smart object via copy. Now this one, bring this up to the top. If I disable that layer mask, so it's all purple, that one isn't linked with all the other ones now. So these four are linked together and this one isn't. So you can see that no matter how much editing I do on that one, it's not linked to all of these. We'll put those in a group so it's easier to see. So that one's on its own, and then all of these ones are linked together. So then if you had, let's say you had the same icon but you wanted one to be blue and one to be purple, you can copy them and link them together. Even though they're the same icon, you can make them two separate smart objects. So then if you want to change all the blue ones to red and all the purple ones to yellow or whatever, you can do that, and it only means you're only having to ever work with two icons there. So it's just so much easier way of working with smart objects, working with icons, especially if you want to do something like this, which if you're part of the Cardiff Met team that I'm working with, you have to do this, which is design a bag. So if you've decided to do a 3D a 3D rendering of the bag, you are able to do this. So what I have here is a bag. These will be supplied in the description below anyway, but if we double click on this, so we've double clicked on the front of the bag, the image is flat, so we can edit this in whatever way we want. So oh yeah, here we go. So we can add in some Merry Christmas text here, and then all we do is we save that image, close the window, and it's added it in. So how we've done this is I took an image, I made a square, let's say that's your image. Oops. I then flattened that image. Right click, I converted it to a smart object. So now when I double click on it, it opens up in a new window. So you can see that if you, Control or Command T, depending on whether you're PC or Mac, for free transform. And if you right click on it, I believe it's warp. You can warp this image in whichever way you choose. So this is how I'm making the 3D renderings available in Photoshop, so you guys don't have to use Adobe Dimensions and things. You can just focus on the Photoshop training. So I just warped that on to the bag. This, I believe, is how a lot of the mock-ups in sort of creative marketing things are done. Some of them anyway. So then you do that, and even though we've changed the shape of that, because it's a smart object, when you link it, it's a flat object. So you can smiley face, and it's snapped in. So they're really, really useful, and they're ways of saving information inside an image, so it's easier to edit later on. Let me know how you get along with these. Oh, one more thing. So if you're a surface pattern designer and you've learned how to create a tile, so if you've not learned how to create a tile yet, there is a create a tile video that I suggest check out. So as you know, you'll need to copy your layer, and so Command J to copy the layer, and then Command T for free transform. We know we want to click this triangle for this to go down to 0, but you can see that doesn't go down to 0 there. It's flicking between a bunch of different numbers, but you want that to go down to 0. So because it's a smart object, you have to put it in a group. So you have to put this into its own folder, and then when you want to bring this down to 0, it goes down to 0, and you can move it to wherever you want. Why you need to put it in a group, I don't know. It's part of Photoshop's thing, I guess. Hopefully you don't need to do that in the future, but for now, this is what you have to do.